When did I first know I was? When did I know I was a star? When did I know I was special?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't know. I think it was
That's actually, I would love if you.
right when I came out of the womb. I knew.
Yeah. Welcome to Low Tide. We're here today with Anthony Arya, and we just wrapped a Seawall session. Anthony, how are you feeling?
Great, Steph. Thanks for having me.
That was too polished.
Okay.
That was too polished.
Sorry. Feeling great.
Cool.
First time hanging in Brooklyn, really.
Yeah. Well, you've been traveling a lot lately. So what has your route been?
Well, I grew up in San Francisco and I live out in the Bay. And I still play there a lot most of the time, but now I'm trying to like get more into the LA scene, going down there more, up in Portland, and then I've been out to New York a few times, but just trying to like, my cousins live out here, trying to get some excuses to play gigs and just, so not quite touring over on the East Coast yet.
Yeah. But you've been on the road for like 2 weeks-ish?
No, I've been because I came back from LA a few weeks before that, so it was kind of just like a little run there, then back in the Bay for some shows, so
Cool.
just the pockets.
That still sounds too exhausting to me, but
Yeah.
I admire you.
Thank you.
Tell me, what did this session feel like compared to the other performances you've done? Any feedback for us?
No, I mean, everything was so dialed in. I think that was probably the difference, is like everything is, so perfectly, executed, which is great.
I think I have the same feedback for you.
Aw,
that was the
thank you.
quickest session we've done. You're so polished. You're ready
thanks.
to go. You're a one-take wonder.
Thank you.
I do 2 takes for safety, but I
Right.
truly feel like we could have just done 1 take for like half your songs.
I love it. Nice.
So that's incredible. Do you approach something like this differently, knowing it's being captured in a more permanent, intimate way? Like, is there anything that you tried this? Like, are you more inclined to play it safe for these because you're like, oh well, it's going to be recorded, or are you more inclined to like be risky that way? If anyone watches it, they're like, there's more pizzazz.
Right. I don't know. I've always had the mentality when I play solo, like accompany myself on guitar to keep the train going, but then I do throw in a lot of fills and licks, and people comment sometimes. They're like, "Wow, you kind of solo with yourself," and I like doing that. So that's all improvised, spur of the moment. But then also, because we were talking earlier, like I do so many shows, like 150 per year for the last few years, the songs naturally kind of take on their shape night after night. So
It's improvised, but
Yeah.
which of 6 little like solos you're gonna go towards probably, right?
Right. Or like the melody differences, or sometimes I listen to a video when I first wrote a song, I'm like, damn, that was way different than how I do it now. But
Yeah. Well, so you grew up in the Bay, which has such a specific musical identity, right? It's the epicenter of 1960s counterculture, psychedelic music like the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane, and this broader culture of anti-materialism and free expression. And so I'd love to know, like, what did music look like in your life early on? Because there's so many different influences
Right.
in every single song. I couldn't,
thank you.
I'm hearing 6 influences per song, right?
Yeah,
So I'd love to hear like what that looked like for you growing up.
Right. I love like the history of San Francisco music, and there's like different eras of it, because there's that 60s counterculture that's like still there when you go to Haight-Ashbury, and all the songwriters that influenced me, and then there's also that like kind of 80s punk scene, and then like the Dead Kennedys, and like there's this like hard rock, and then there's now this contemporary era that I'm trying to help foster. Growing up in the 90s, I didn't grow up in the 90s, but in the 90s.
Growing up in the 90s,
I should say, growing up, and then I should say 90s San Francisco had a great blues scene. And so I feel like the vestiges of that was what I grew up with, because my mom would take me to these blues bars in like North Beach area, San Francisco. So I would see a lot of great guitar players and these blues musicians performing night after night at these spots, and during the day we would interact with them, and just kind of I guess I got hooked to seeing these musicians do it. And then as I started writing songs, I got into more of the classic canon of the Grateful Dead and Janis Joplin, and like those San Francisco Bay icons.
Yeah. Is there something about that part of the country that feels creatively different from somewhere like New York or LA? Can you identify it? Can you verbalize it?
There's a dynamism, I think, to the culture of the West Coast, and then San Francisco in particular. I think like it's ever changing, and maybe it reflects the landscape, maybe it reflects the history, like the 49ers coming out, the Wagoneers, and then you just have these iterations of people that are trying to change or better themselves, or whatever it is that kind of seeps in. So I think that's like a singular thing, but there's also the casualness of California that also, it's like an interesting mix of pursuing, the change and trying to make your mark, but then also laid back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because I asked you earlier off the record. I was like, if you had to move anywhere, what do you think? And your first response was not Nashville.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'd love to know. I'd love to know, why for you somewhere like New York or LA might be like acceptable over Nashville, when Nashville also has a similar, I mean, debatable, I guess, dynamism to it with
Right.
all this history. So yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear your hot take.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Nashvilleites, don't come after me after this. But I mean, well, when I describe my music, sometimes I reference Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. That was like in the late '60s. All these songwriters, Neil Young, Tom Petty, Graham Parsons, they all lived out there and collaborated. And so that was like. And people called it country rock, but it was almost proto Nashville because it was before Nashville was even a town for music. And then everyone moved out there that was kind of country leaning. So, that's kind of the way where I don't want to be, sort of affiliated with country music. But people that like country music will like my music because there's a folkiness and an authentic rootsiness to it. And then I just don't think I could live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then I will say one last thing is that about the Nashville, like the sort of music gets a little bit mechanized, where there's like the songwriting camp, and then there's like the artist camp, and then there's the musician session player camp, and and there's like the studios people, and like you kind of, so if you want a song, you go to the songwriters, and you sit in a room with 6 people and you get your song done. It's like for me, I've always been about being the artist and all of that, and not having this assembly line of creativity.
Well, there's also this obvious efficiency to it all, which, I'll get to in a little bit, but like you have such a catalog for such a young age.
Thank you.
I think that we'll touch, I don't want to get ahead of myself,
Sure,
but I think that efficiency is showing up in other places too. You're not stuck in the same pipeline. You're not stuck in the same bottleneck, so to speak.
Right. For better or for worse, because I feel like Spotify and all the algorithmic, traction is trying to hone in on your brand always, and there is like an advantage to that, to having a clear cut like sound. So I'm trying to find the balance of that because I like writing different songs.
Yeah. You spent a lot of time busking and playing in public spaces, which is such a different kind of training than most artists get. So what did playing for strangers who didn't owe you their attention teach you?
How to perform. How to like get people's attention and keep it and get $1 in the guitar case, So yeah, it gave me confidence.
Do you see that translating to, I think of it similar to the age of social, right? Where you have to buy someone's attention in the first 3 seconds. You have to earn their attention in the first 3 seconds. You have to stop the scroll. Do you feel like any of that translated maybe?
Not to my prowess on being an influencer, because I cannot, I don't know. I mean, I try, but I think I would love if everyone online, like that just in the whole first 2 seconds, like if they could just see a show or see like a song of mine in person live, I think I could get them, because like I know that I can deliver a good performance, but it's hard the social media aspect of it. I think it also incorporates personality, and not that I don't have a personality, but I just don't, I don't know. I just want to show the songs, and I kind of just lean into that.
Are you someone who, like, you think throughout your career you're going to try to separate your persona from the music?
The artist formerly known as Anthony Arya.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because there's certain artists you can't separate. Like their personas are bigger than their catalog.
Right.
But it sounds like you want that to be complete opposite. I don't know. Do you think you're going to be elusive? You immediately get shuttled off the stage and into a black car, and no one sees you.
Anthony has left the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like, I admire creative pursuits like Bon Iver, where they're like, it started out as just a dude in a cabin, but it was flexible enough to become a creative endeavor where there's a lot of different collaborations, and he has like full people, a band, but it's like a creative entity, you know?
Yeah.
So for Anthony Arya, even though it's my name, I'd like to have a kind of ecosystem of musicians and people that I play with, you know?
Yeah.
So I could see that evolving that way.
So was there ever a moment like busking, for example, where you felt like, okay, like this is actually working, like this is clicking, this is finally getting momentum?
I'm trying to think. I mean, everything was very kind of like just one thing to another. And when I was younger, I started joining these school bands and then like the after school rock band in elementary school. And then like, you know, there's like no rock band. So I joined jazz band in high school. So I got more and more comfortable in these little groups playing music. But then when I first started writing songs and wanted to see like, oh, gosh, am I any good at this? Then there was this organization called West Coast Songwriters, and I would go to these chapter events and perform my song. And there were competitions, so they would have, you know, best performance and best song. And so I think that was where I first got immediate feedback that, you know, my songs and my singing was there. And then I never really thought of myself as a vocalist, and then I ended up on The Voice when I was 15.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a little bit of affirmation, like, okay, I'm a singer.
Yeah. Do you think that shaped how you connect with people now when you perform, being on The Voice?
Yeah, I mean, like being able to be confident on any stage, because that was just a big experience, you know,
Yeah.
all the lights,
0 to
cameras.
100. 0
Yeah,
to 100.
exactly. I think maybe we're talking about that with just laying down a performance, one take or whatever you want to call it. Like when those cameras go on, you gotta do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you like you said, you were really young. You were 15, and I gotta say, like, I watched those clips after. So I found you organically through Instagram. I had no idea you were on The Voice until afterwards when I was doing more research into you.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. I was like, this is a 15, 16. Like, this is crazy. You, for one, you looked and sounded super polished, but more than anything, you didn't seem nervous at all. Do you remember what was going through your mind back then?
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy, you know, summer out there, like just going through 3 rounds. And, you know, I was lucky to play songs that I really enjoyed delivering, you know, Danny's song, Kenny Loggins, and Jim Croce, the operator. So I felt comfortable in the songs, and like they're so, you know, all this long extended process that I was just like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I just wanted to really sort of just get it done, because I was like, not in the nervous sense, but in the sense that I'm like, I didn't want to, so long as, you know, the waiting anticipation of a performance that I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
And I know I could sing the song and then just want to just do it, you know. So,
Nice. I mean, so you ended up working with Adam Levine. Were you a Maroon 5 fan before, or like what was that experience?
I mean,
were you low key hoping a different coach would pick you, or like what was the
Kelly? No, I was thinking that Adam would be a good team to be on, and I had watched the show growing up, so I was very familiar with him being a coach and like, you know, the big Maroon 5 hits. So yeah, I was stoked. Yeah, it worked out. You know, it worked out well.
Nice. Do you think that there's anything that he or another coach would have given you that now you're like you have to unlearn? Is there
Okay,
anything
like
from your time at The Voice that you feel like you had to like undo, or no, you were like every single part of this was super helpful and I take it into everyday life?
Hey, interesting. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of showbiz aspects of it that, you know, like are not really as applicable to being a gigging musician. But then I was also grateful to learn more about the industry and all the ins and outs of, you know, meeting with lawyers and meeting with various, you know.
Oh, lovely. Meeting with lawyers.
So that's a fun time. As far as the coaches, I mean, I got there's vocal coaching that happens behind the scenes with these, you know, the vocal instructors. And so that was my first time getting lessons singing. So I enjoyed that experience because I never, like I said, thought of myself as a vocalist. So being able to get a little bit of singing instruction was nice.
Do you ever think now, like with how much you've grown from a technical and artistic standpoint, do you ever think about going out for another show again?
You know, American Idol has been like inquiring and you know, I've been mulling it over in my head, but I don't know. I just like, now in the age where it's like people, you know, they go viral for video and like they get traction online, even slow and steady. And so it's like, you know, those shows can help you get that moment, but you can also do it yourself. And it's not quite like in the early 2000s American Idol where it's just like crazy, 30 million people watching. And it was just like this star factory. So I've thought about it, but I don't know. I think maybe my showbiz days are over.
Yeah. And I think most of the world knows now that, even if you win that show, your deal is not the end all be all. And most of the time, the deal itself, other than Kelly Clarkson, I don't know anyone who actually, got a good situation out of that.
Right.
But
Jennifer Hudson, too. She was a coach on the show.
And so, with that all being said, like, do you think the value prop in it now is just like translating that more immediately to like social media followers and Spotify listeners, and it's not actually in winning the show anymore because the contracts are so hit or miss, so to speak, depending on what show you're on?
I think you're right. I mean, and then it's different now. Idol, you could do your own songs, but The Voice still you do covers. And for me as a songwriter, that was important for me. And so like doing covers is a little different ball game. And so now, if you do your own song and it gets some traction on Idol and you get a few tens of thousands of followers online, then that can help get you in the right direction. So it can be a launching pad.
I know Bob Dylan is one of your influences, and I think you can really hear that in the way that you approach songs. But something that stands out to me is your voice has a lot of range and power. And honestly, it's funny you say that you never thought you were a vocalist, because it feels like you're intentionally like holding back sometimes. It feels like you're intentional about when you use it and when you hold back in a way where the restraint almost feels like a nod to artists from that era.
Oh, cool.
Is that something that you actively think about, or just what feels natural to you when you're singing?
Oh, yeah. I've never, like, restraining.
Like
runs or
there are moments where, like, you can feel, based on your energy, the power in your voice, the power in your chest, you're like, he could go to a 10 right now, but he's chilling at a 7.
Cool.
And I wonder, but there are moments where you go to that 10. And so I don't know, for me, I wondered if that was ever an intentional choice.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never been I guess you call it vocal exhibitionism. Like, I don't, even when I was on The Voice, like, a lot of people doing crazy stuff, and that's not really my thing. But the songwriting that Bob Dylan, like that Laura talked about, Laurel Canyon, they were great melody writers and great lyricists, and it was about the song. And so like the arch of the song, the arc of the song, and the way it was crafted, I think lent itself to momentum and the right times to give a little bit more. And then restraint's a beautiful thing too. I think about Neil Young a lot when it's just like you want to just kind of like lean into the song.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hear a lot of that too. Like I hear that era when you're performing. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you're actively choosing to prioritize storytelling over necessarily like
journal entry kind of songs?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think about even the songs you perform today, right? The Dress being one of them. And there's obvious storytelling in it. I think the only one where maybe the story was not obvious is Sugar on Your Shades.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right? Which honestly just feels like, hey girl, which honestly just like she's hot. She's putting some, but the others feel like whole narrative arcs. And I don't know, do you feel like you ever lean towards one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, I like writing story songs. I mean, and in fact, it's funny that you say that with Sugar, because I mean, a lot of people will ask me what Sugar on Your Shades is, and it's really actually more of just like a outlook on life. That it's like a take on seeing life through rose-colored glasses. So it was sort of meant to be this story of like trying to live in the city and like these two, me and having this sort of on and off relationship and having figuring out life in the city moment, but. Yeah, I mean, I've written a lot of songs from just characters I've read about and stories, and I like embodying another character like that. So,
who's one character you've written about that people might not know? Like Harry Potter? Like who's one?
A lot of like story songs. I mean, I wrote
City
this
Got You Down is about Harry Potter.
Right, yeah. So, he's Expelliarmus and, all those references in the song are there. No, I mean, Sacco and Vanzetti were these two Italian immigrants in the 1920s, and I wrote this song called Judge Taylor, but it was Judge Thayer in the 20s that wrongfully convicted them of murder. And it's from my second album, and I like doing that. I mean, I wrote like Ode to Absalom from this character from this class that I took in the Bible. It was like a Bible as literature class, and it was.
I took a Bible as literature
did you?
course,
Wow.
yeah, in college.
Yeah, a lot of good stories in there.
Yeah.
And I wrote this song about one of them, and so I like doing that. It's fun, and I think in an era where it's not a bad thing, but there's a lot of like diary entry songs that are just like I drank a Slurpee at 2 p.m. at 7-Eleven, and like
that for me is much more of like what I think is a country
interesting.
What's the word, tendency. And so earlier when you were like, I think if you like country music you'll like my songs, in my head I was like, I don't know if you're as blunt as the lyrics
right.
of it, like
right.
which is like, yeah, which is honestly just like we would go to get 7-Eleven on a Thursday. I miss you.
Also, indie folk has a lot of that too.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, there's always this different, like Chris Stapleton and that kind of side of country is maybe a little closer to what I write, but not as kind of without the accent, without the country inflections.
So you're 23 and you're about to release your 5th full-length album. Correct? Yeah.
Working. Yeah, I have all the songs ready.
And so that's a crazy timeline. And it shows either a lot of discipline or a nonstop creative force that's always flowing. So what is it? What is it for you? And that's part of the efficiency, it sounds like, is that you're like, I'm the artist. I'm doing me all steps of the way. There is no bottleneck.
Right.
But yeah, 5 full-length albums, and these are not like 5-song albums. We're talking 15, 20 songs per.
Yeah, or like they're 11 most.
Yeah.
Most
so I'd love to just tell me. So what's your secret? How do we bottle it? How do we share it with everyone else?
I mean, I don't feel like I am like as prolific as some songwriters that just crank out songs per day, like a song per day. And
Lil Wayne. Yeah, I think
does he do that?
Lil Wayne.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Or like, we're talking about Bob Dylan. He had an era when he was living in New York where he was just like on his typewriter just every day cranking out tunes. And for me, I feel like I've written a lot of songs, but I also play a lot, and there's so many aspects of being a musician now that you have to focus on to get to the next step, and that can be a little bit distracting sometimes from just writing songs.
For sure.
But yeah, I've been, since I was after The Voice, I've been putting out an album every couple of years pretty much. And so it's been a little bit. And now, like I'm going to be waterfalling these next 5th album songs pretty soon.
You got to share, whatever you're doing, you got to share it with Rihanna and Frank Ocean because...
Would they dig it?
Well, no, because it's been like 10 years since they put out any music.
Yeah.
And I know their fans.
That's funny. That's right. Rihanna, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever going to put out that album.
No, she's just putting out babies now.
I love Rihanna, though. She's awesome.
What makes you want to put albums out that closely together? Is it that you so badly want to share these songs with the world? Or is there a feeling like you need to be working on something at all times? Or is there a secret third thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I always felt like I've had the songs for a while. All of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I just got to get them out so I can move on to the next ones. And I don't think I can move on to the next set of songs until I get the album out. And so it's frustrating because now I think in the release cycles of things, it's usually like you have a few singles and then you put out the record, but albums aren't as big as before. So yeah, I think it's just the feeling that I want to get it out in the world before I can move on and work on the next songs.
Do you feel like enough time passes between these projects for you to actually like notice yourself evolving? Or do you have to sometimes do like a retrospective every like, I don't know, like every 5 years to look back at your earlier stuff and go, oh yeah, like I am completely different?
I think sonically the vibe changes, and I've noticed that after album. Maybe it was like a little more Americana. Even my first album had some jazz and blues in there, and so honing in on this, I still don't really know what to call it, but indie folk rock that has a pop adjacency, has some rootsiness in there, but also a little bit of rock too. Like that has been an evolution of 5 albums worth of songs. And then as far as the topics of songs, I mean, relationships are usually as a songwriter, like markers of, at least it doesn't have to be an album necessarily, but a grouping of songs. Usually like, you remember, oh yeah, okay, I was in this relationship then. But
yeah, that's gotta hit different. I mean, as not a songwriter, I don't necessarily have to like look back at my relationship from 2008 and hear like the gut-wrenching song that I wrote back then. I'd be like, ooh.
Someone asked me to play where I was playing at Lucinda's in the East Village, and someone asked me to play like one from my first album, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, because it was from a few relationships ago. I mean, I was 16 when I wrote the song.
Yeah. So You've stayed rooted in the Bay Area, which has such a strong sense of identity, but isn't as industry centered as somewhere like LA or New York. Do you feel like being there has allowed you to develop more independently, or do you ever feel a pull to leave and see what might shift for you in a different environment?
I think it like when coming out of college too, I just wanted to play and play. I was 21 finally, so I could play all these bars that I wanted to, and so maybe this. And it might have not been the best decision because honestly, a lot of people trying to make it in music are just trying to get their music out online as much as possible. But I wanted to play live, and so in the Bay, without the industry really there, I was just like performing live all the time. So, I think that's different than a lot of people and how they approach getting their career going. So I think it's good because it makes you kind of have to have the chops and for better or for worse, you're a live performer. I mean, now I'm trying to have more of a balance of getting down to LA more. And
I love that you turned 21 and your first thought was not like, now I can drink. It was like, now I can play the bars.
yeah.
You're like, well, I'm doing the performances. I do it all for the drink tickets.
Right. Yeah. It's the free booze.
That's all one big hustle to get drink tickets.
Yeah.
So we're going to transition to something I call the speed round, which is a lot more fun, silly, lighthearted.
I like it.
All right,
cool.
So we're going to warm it up here. A texture you can't stand.
Okay, wait, I got to be quick. Fuzz.
Fuzz.
Yeah.
Okay. We talking like under the couch fuzz or like your beard's growing out fuzz?
Oh, yeah, I guess both. I'm talking about like a fuzz rug.
Like my dog?
Oh, no, I love Koji. No.
Okay, we're talking dirt under the couch fuzz.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Something you always notice that other people don't.
I mean, okay, in a musical context, I just can't, like, out of tune singing. I think people go to, like, a bar and they're like, okay, whatever, let's just have a good time. But I can't, I have to leave if...
So you cannot be invited to karaoke?
Unfortunately not. I've been invited to karaoke a few times, and it's like, I don't enjoy it.
I don't enjoy it.
My whole life is... Okay, good. There.
I do not enjoy karaoke, bro. I feel like an alien.
Okay.
Can someone explain to me what is fun? Like, explain to me like I'm an alien, like... Why is this activity of listening to each other sing?
I know, and badly usually.
Badly.
Yeah.
What is fun about it?
I've been asked on a few dates to karaoke. I'm like, I don't. It's like my whole life is karaoke. And then I don't need to see other people sing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. If you had to swap lives with someone for a week, who would you choose?
A dead or alive?
Dead or alive? Yeah.
Dylan, Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Now here's a follow up, but. Bob Dylan today or Bob Dylan in his era?
Yeah, no, back in the day.
Okay, because I would hate to be Bob Dylan today.
Yeah, no.
I would hate. I'd have like psychosis.
Yeah, no. Let's do 1960.
Okay. Can you imagine him walking out and like seeing teen girls recording TikToks in the street, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?"
But I heard he has an AI like generated Patreon now, so he's weird. He can like be strangely hip to the times.
If fruits were sentient, which one would have the worst attitude?
Probably tomato because it's like no one thinks it's a fruit.
I was just gonna say, is that even a fruit? It is a fruit.
So it'd probably be like have a chip on its shoulder, like.
Bro, that's brilliant. You're brilliant. I think you could write a song about that. Which sport would be the funniest if everyone had to whisper the entire time? Michael hates that.
Oh, clicking. Sorry, Michael. Let's take that back. No, I was thinking of because the Winter Olympics just happened, and like the what is it when you're shuffling the hurdle? No, what is it? You know what I'm talking about? Where they have like the ice rocks. They
have shuffleboard on ice. That sounds crazy.
Curling.
Thank
you. That back there.
Okay.
Curling, they shout and they're so loud when they're like, they're trying to like direct it or like how much to brush and they're so like, I think let's get some whispering in the curling.
All right. Your music is a store with regulars. What do you sell? Who keeps coming back and why?
We sell good vibes.
It's
just vibes, It's like, actually, there's a drink vibes. It's like a CBD kombucha.
Okay.
So we're selling vibes.
Okay. What's your return policy?
Man.
On the vibes? If I like bought a vibe I didn't want, and I'm like, actually, can you undo this? My day has been derailed.
Store credit only. Yeah.
All right. If you could go back to your time on The Voice and build your dream panel of coaches, past or present, you get 4 chairs. Who are you picking?
Damn, that's a good one. I like that question.
You didn't like my fruit question?
Yeah. No, that was nice too. John Mayer. We're talking about Neil Young earlier. Put Neil on there. Lana Del Rey.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
Like Lana. I hope she likes my music. Just someone random that like I feel like would be fun.
Charlie XCX for the plot.
Oh, we were talking about Brad
for the
Summer.
plot, because you
If
guys
I could
have
get
a
Charlie to
have a
turn
one-sided-
around,
Yeah, because you guys have a one-sided rivalry.
my cousin loves Charlie, and like he would love to see that duo, Charlie XCX. Please have me
the
open for
EDM
me.
sugar on your shades.
Yeah.
She's like in the boiler room.
Yeah. I'm talking with a producer about doing an EDM mix of a song of mine called Jade,
Nice.
because it has to be enough BPMs for that kind of stuff.
Do you have like a demo? I'd love to hear it up.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
sick.
Yeah, or I'll play it for you. It's like a European club Jade version.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for being here and spending time with us. If you want to hear more from Anthony, his performances are up on the Seawall Sessions YouTube, and we'll have links to all his socials so you can stay in the loop on shows and new music. But Anthony, let anyone who's watching, let them know what you have coming up. What should they
people.
Yeah, people.
Camera 2, camera 1.
Whichever you want.
Come out to, I mean, if you're in San Francisco, then you can easily find me. But I mean, there's going to be a new single coming out imminently. So go to Spotify and follow me there. I'll be coming down to LA again soon. And hopefully New York, I'll be playing some shows coming up. So AnthonyArya.com. I hope to play for you.
Thanks for listening. This has been Low Tide at Seawall. Oh, I did the wrong hand. Here you go.
Steph, thanks for having me.
Charming. Lovely. All right. Now you can wave frantically to whichever camera you want.
Peace. Peace.